CNC3.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. I am Kijan Haynes. The proposed Stand Your Ground legislation will not be used as a loophole for domestic violence. That issue was raised at a public consultation in Oropouche East last evening. Janelle Bernard reports.
There's no defense under the Stand Your Ground legislation for perpetrators of domestic violence. This from the Minister of Homeland Security, as the issue of domestic violence and the Stand Your Ground legislation came to the forefront during consultations, emphasizing that the legislation is not about killing. The Homeland Security Minister pleaded with citizens to be self-aware as they consider applying for firearm user's license.
If you know you're involved in any domestic situation, I suggest, I ask, I beg, stay away from firearm applications.
And Attorney at Law Ganesh Sarup is making it clear that the Stand Your Ground legislation is not meant to enable violence against members of the same household.
But as it relates to this act, this proposed piece of legislation, you cannot use force against someone who had a right to be in that property, such as your wife or cohabitant or husband, because that person equally has the right to be there. So the Stand Your Ground defense will not apply in a situation like that. The Stand Your Ground defense also will not apply if the force you are using against someone is clearly excessive and disproportionate in the situation and circumstances.
The Homeland Security Minister also says that there are provisions within the legislation for situations where the person discharging the firearm is not the holder of the FUL, but intervenes in a volatile situation.
The person asks, if your daughter is at home and you had an intruder and she take the gun and shoot, while it may not be within the law just yet, there's something called weapon of opportunity.
Government consultations on the proposed Stand Your Ground legislations are expected to continue across the country. Janelle Bernard, CNC3 News.
And Acting Commissioner of Prisons Carlos Carraspi says he is neither in favor nor against the removal of both the Port of Spain and Carrera prisons. On Tuesday, head of the Prison Officers Association, Gerard Gordon, reiterated the association's call for shutting down both prisons. Now, Gordon says both facilities are not fit for purpose and a new facility should be constructed. In a telephone interview with CNC3 News today, Carraspi says as long as the prisons are designated as such, his officers ought to report to them. Carraspi didn't directly respond to questions asking if he felt that the two facilities had outlived their usefulness.
Any circumstances or infrastructure that would allow us to improve the discharge of our duties is something that I will always welcome. But I'm saying once the facility remains designated under the law and the Constitution, and we are required to carry out our functions there, and I will urge our officers to continue to so do.
Now, Gordon says it costs the country millions of dollars annually to upkeep both facilities, which is a waste as a modern facility, and he says those would be more effective. Now, in the wake of Independent Senator Derup Timal's passing, and even as he's laid to rest today, the political fallout continues. Leader of Government Business Darrell Allaha wants independent and opposition senators Anthony Vieira and Emery Brown to apologize to Timal's family. Allaha condemned what he described as outrageous and hypocritical statements made by Independent Senator Anthony Vieira, which suggested that the UNC played a role in the late senator's untimely death. He said this was then supported by opposition Senator Dr. Emery Brown. Allaha pointed out that the family of the late Senator Timal has publicly dismissed these claims, branding them as baseless. The senator added that the current Senate dynamic feels as though he is facing off against two opposition benches. And as the new UNC administration nears 100 days in office, Postal Henry says, from all indications, government is marching forward to fulfill their campaign promises. But Henry, who spoke during an interview on CNC3's Morning Brew program today, adds that citizens should be realistic and have realistic expectations since there are economic constraints.
they have promised, stand your ground legislation. They are moving forward in terms of the consultation process. They have talked about being tough on crime. We see we are in an SOE. That in itself has a mixed bag, but we see that the Honorable Prime Minister is unafraid to make certain decisions as it comes to declaring a state of emergency. There has been some movement in the agricultural sector in terms of not just the investment, but the focus. But by and large, we have to be fair and, more importantly, realistic, because we are in an environment of depressed revenues.
And as the 2026 budget presentation approaches, Henry says he's not expecting too many fiscal changes from the last budget.
We must consider that this administration is coming in at a unique time before a budget period. So a lot of the adoption in terms of fiscal policy, they would be adopting much of the past administration fiscal policies. So in terms of real sense of fundamental changes, you will see that coming closer into the new fiscal term, where obviously spending priorities tells you what would be the strategy.
As the world commemorates Breastfeeding Week, Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo is encouraging mothers, employers, as well as healthcare providers to continue to support mothers as they try to provide the best possible care and nutrition for their babies. Dr. Bodo says breastfeeding is a vital part of any country's socioeconomic and healthcare system.
It is also a powerful public health tool and a sustainable practice that benefits our families, our healthcare system, and indeed our planet.
Dr. Bodo says this country has achieved a significant milestone, saying that breastfeeding at 4 hospitals is already under the Baby-Friendly Hospital Initiative, and breastfeeding rates for mothers are above average.
Our national initiation of breastfeeding rate currently stands at an impressive 90%, exceeding the global target of 80%, Dr. Vivas. This success reflects the commitment of our healthcare professionals and the effectiveness of our policies and training initiatives.
All right, and when we come back, we have sports. Stay with us.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
All right, let's do some cricket now. West Indies have left out 3 players from the team that played the one-day internationals in England in May to cut the roster to 15 for the ODI series against Pakistan starting on Friday at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Shimron Hetmeyer, John Campbell and Alzari Joseph have all been left out for the series against the Asians. Evan Lewis has recovered from injury that kept him out of the T20 series and will join Jaden Seals and Amir Jangu as the other 2 Trinidadians on the team. Another quick break. We'll be right back.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies like their bones, muscles, joints, brain, heart, and also their immune health. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way because they deserve it.
Be the architect of your dream home at Richmond Park, Cunupia. Choose your land and create the home you desire. Lots start from 5,000 square feet and homes from 1,700 square feet. First 7 lucky buyers get $50,000 off your purchase. Use up to $25,000 towards your down payment. Richmond Park, where home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Prices range from 1.8 to 2.4 million. Mattress Main Road, Cunupia, for 355-7703.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
The political community in Guyana is mourning the sudden death of Daniel Williams, a People's Progressive Party civic candidate who collapsed and died while giving a speech in Agatash, Region 7. The People's Progressive Party described Williams as a dedicated public servant, while political opponents, including a Partnership for National Unity, the Alliance for Change, and the Forward Guyana Movement, all expressed deep condolences, praising his contributions to education and his unifying presence. His death, captured in a viral video, has prompted national unity at a time of Guyana's division, even as their election comes up in September. A twofold blow of wildfires in the West and Canada is causing air quality to take a serious hit across the United States. CNN gives us more.
The past couple days has been a little rough. You can definitely feel the heaviness of it.
Wildfire smoke is wrecking air quality in places across the U.S. amid a 1-2 punch of fires in the West and in Canada that sent smoke pouring across large sections of the country. Tuesday, millions of people were under air quality alerts in 11 states in the Midwest and Northeast due to smoke from Canadian wildfires. Air quality has also taken a hit from smoke in the western U.S., especially Southern California, where crews are fighting the state's biggest blaze of the year. The Gifford fire started Friday. It's burned nearly 84,000 acres and was only 9% contained as of Tuesday evening. The fast-moving blaze prompted evacuation orders that were in effect Tuesday for parts of 2 counties.
Conditions can change rapidly, and the next thing you know, they're experiencing fire activity that they can't even imagine.
Elsewhere in Southern California, the Rosa fire in Riverside County prompted evacuations and sent plumes of smoke into the sky, leaving behind a strong haze. As of Tuesday evening, the fire had burned more than 1,600 acres and was just 15% contained.
Okay, Jean-Marc Rampersad joins us now with a look at the weather.
This morning we had some hot and sunny conditions interrupted by a few isolated showers over both islands. This afternoon and evening we can expect these intermittent showers to continue, but with the possibility of a few heavy showers and thunderstorms over both Trinidad and Tobago. A few settled periods can be expected tonight, but a few heavy showers and thunderstorms are likely during the early morning hours. Off to our east, the tropical wave we've been tracking has been gradually strengthening, now with a 60% chance of cyclone development. While it may not directly affect us, it can have an indirect influence on our weather this upcoming weekend.
Well, thank you for joining us for a look at the day's developments so far. We'll have these stories and so much more in our major newscast at 7 p.m. Have a great day.